What's going on, people? Welcome back to League M for another video. Crystal Palace won, Chelsea won.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
More points dropped. Simple as that. More points dropped. Another game where we were dominant in the first half. In the second half, not so much. Better overall than the last couple of games, I would say. But dropping points again, it's a very frustrating result, especially given the fact that we drew to the same team in the beginning of the season in the same circumstances. Literally, we played the same way. The first half, we were dominant. We looked like we could score more. We didn't, not taking our chances. And somehow, all it took is a moment. Crystal Palace have that moment. They take the opportunity and they score. And they gain a point. But before I get into the game, I want to get into the goals very quickly. The first goal, Palmer opening the scoring. Sancho made the goal. From the dummy, to the run into the box, to the cutback, to find Palmer. Palmer with a brilliant finish. Brilliant goal. But then it was cancelled out by Jean-Phillipe Mateta. Malo Gusto caught out in that moment, leaving Achimpong exposed. Ebrechi Eze capitalizing on the space, making use of the space, finding Mateta in the box. Simple finish. Honestly, this is... Come on, man. We weren't in full control in the first 30 minutes. We're still getting into the game. It was still very scrappy, some parts of it. But we managed to gain control over time. I think the first 30 minutes was, our best. That was our best spell of the game. After the first goal, we were all over them. The Palace had very little opportunities to break. They managed to hit on the break, and they showed that, if they could, they would. If they have the opportunity, they will hurt. But we managed to keep them at arm's length for a good part of the game. Chances that were created in the first half honestly could have just killed the game there and then. In the first half, and that Neto cutback that Palmer couldn't get to. I'm looking at the Jackson one-on-one, really managing to beat Maxence Lacroix, and instead of shooting with his left, opts to trivela it with his right. And that would have been a brilliant goal, but then it didn't even hit the target, so poor finishing at the end. The second half, I'd say the difference between the first half and the second half is not that we came out not wanting to create chances, because we still managed to create chances in the second half. We managed the game better in the first half. We managed to keep Palace at bay, not allowing them to build that belief and allowing them to be positive whenever they had the ball. In the second half, they started getting into the game, seeing more of the ball, having more spells of possession. And when that happens, obviously the team is going to have belief that they can get something out of it. And, they were on it. They were knocking more than they did in the first half, because we sort of just allowed them to do it. We sat back and we tried to see what they were going to do. Palace could have equalized right in the beginning. That's where the danger needed to be recognized. That's where you understand that, maybe we just need to keep the stranglehold that we have on the game instead of easing up. And then there was the penalty incident, which I'm going to get into right now. Last week against Ipswich, you guys saw how that penalty was won. Pen was given. Little to no contact. Wasn't even getting to the ball. Liam Delap. The pen was given. To say it's a soft pen, we're actually being kind. That was a clear dive. So when he dove last week, Delap, that pen was given. Now fast forward to Sunday. Tyrick Mitchell basically catches Pedro Neto from behind, doesn't even get the ball. Or even if he got to the ball somehow, he had to get through Pedro Neto to get to the ball.
What?
Like even days before VAR, that was a pen all day. So I don't know why VAR did not overturn that. I don't know why. I'm not going to say this is why we dropped points, but this does contribute. Our performance, our offensive performance, we can talk about that. We can talk about how we created chances, didn't manage to take our chances. When these decisions are not taken, we also have to look at them and say, hey, what's going on? What is it? Why are we not doing things right? I cannot slag off my team for not being very clinical, but also have to slag off the officiators for not making the right decisions. You understand? One must die. Something must give. So that should be looked at. All those officiators, guys, no. In the so-called best league in the world, the most watched league in the world, the quality in officiating is just so but it's fine. We will take our drop points on the chin. Just put it down to us not being clinical, because we were not clinical. That pen that was given, it's not an excuse. We shouldn't use that as because at the end of the day, if we had taken our chances, the chances that we created, very clear, some of them, that wouldn't have mattered. The pen that wasn't given, it wouldn't have mattered. At the end of the day, spoils are shared. I will say that, this draw is not on Maresca. Maresca actually coached a flipping 4-1 game. Now, if we're going to count that concession, I'm counting that concession. He does lose points for not making subs in time, even though the team, they were still good. They looked like they could do something. In that game, I actually thought, these guys, they were performing so well offensively. Didn't manage the game well in the second half, but you had the feeling that, it 2-1, but that didn't happen. The subs, obviously, having little time to make an impact on the game, that is something that should be looked at. I think after the 60th, 65th minute, if nothing has changed, subs should be made. Now, that also begs the question whether or not Maresca actually trusts his bench. Does he trust the players on the bench to make an impact if they come on early? There's just a lot of questions around that. That is a conversation that needs to be had. But no, it was honestly all down to our chances not being taken. Positives, there were positives. Josh Achiampong, brilliant full league debut. He was excellent on the ball, composed, solid defensively as well. Playing as a centre back, whereas his primary position is right. He's a very tall, right? He's tall. He can actually pass at centre back. I think he worked very well with Colwell next to him. Very unfortunate to be exposed for that goal, but these things happen in football. I really believe he was one of the best players alongside Colwell. Jadon Sancho is another one. Played a good game, got the assist, and what was underrated about Sancho, something that should be shouted out, something that we weren't sure about when he actually signed for Chelsea, is his defensive work rate, which has been excellent, especially in this game against Palace. He was really helping out his fullback, and that is something that should be commended. I'd say the performance overall was much better than the games prior. We let ourselves down in the end though, failing to manage the game, failing to be clinical. Having picked up 2 points in a possible 12 is just not good enough. Looking at how good we were before we faced Everton, and the fact that when we looked at these other games, we were salivating, thinking, oh, no, this is definitely, we're getting maximum points here. So failing to do that, it's disappointing, it's frustrating, and It cannot be allowed to continue. A side that is serious about finishing in the top 4 at least gets maximum points from that run. And now the next one, it's looking like it's going to be a bit tricky. We're not sure now. Going into the next 5 games, we're not sure what's going to happen. I think you have doubts. It's things like that that makes this whole run more disappointing. Now we have more coming next in the FA Cup. The first team guys need to rest a bit. Let's get the second team out there, get some minutes in the legs, let them play some football, and we'll see next week what happens. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment sections below. What do you make of the game? What do you make of the performance? And who are your standout players? Let me know in the comment sections below. Please do not forget, if you're new, to like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Keep it in.